The more you can help somebody feel whole in general, the more they're going to produce for you during the employment hours. So it's because it's not a 1-minute story. It's a process, and it's a willingness to be open to things that seem outside. They seem really kind of on the fringe, but they're really not. They're really at the very core of what we all really expect. It's just hard to put it into words. And I think that's where human potential is. That's something that I think everybody can understand. We all, as an employer, we all want to maximize the potential of our employees. Period, paragraph. You just want to maximize them. And if all they can do is pull staples, then they'll be the best darn staple puller you got. I know that there are larger companies that are really beginning to envelop that concept of overall mental and emotional awareness and health, because that's how they're going to get the best out of their employee. I mean, if you look into the business place, most of the time business place is focused on profitability, which is a foundational understanding that we're here to make money. That's the way life is. But at the same time, you also want the people that you're working with to be doing something that they're proud of and that they have earnest and really a deep-rooted faith and belief in their own system and within what they do and what they produce. I do have when we have someone that needs to build trust with someone else or has lost trust for whatever reason, it needs to be discussed, and we need to talk about what caused that, and then one, are they going to allow that trust to be rebuilt, and if they are, what is their pathway to do that, and how can all the parties be beneficial in helping get that point. I mean, you have that with clients sometimes, where you promise them you're going to do something, and then you make a mistake and don't. Then they have a right to feel uncomfortable the next time, and you need to be aware of that. And you have to think about how are you going to treat them in order to bring that trust back. I mean, you go through years and years of doing everything really well, and then our human side comes in, as I like to talk about, and it drops a little bit. Well, all right, you have to just work through that. And hopefully you'll have a client that will understand that and see the culture that we're working with to know that everybody's human and mistakes happen. If you're making mistakes over and over again, then you have to look at why that's occurring and how you can correct that so that you can build that trust. That works. I can't say words and actions one time. I have to say words and actions every time. And so we have better opportunities and issues that come up in our world that we knew were going to come up, that we just now have to face and adjust accordingly. And because we're not always in control of how every detail works, sometimes you have to go, oops, I wasn't expecting that, and figure out how to fix that. And that's when, if the foundation of continuity and community and our baseline foundational concepts are sound, you work through that pretty easily. When you get hit with something from the left side that you're not working or the right or not expecting, or from the right side that you're not expecting, you then all of a sudden, it's kind of like a ripple in the water. It kind of makes you jiggle a little, and then you settle back down, and you get focused back on words and actions matching and expectations being realistic. It is easy to set expectations of your dreams, but that doesn't mean that they're always going to work out if they're not based in some reality. And those are the hard pieces to marry together, because some people put some very far-reaching expectations on themselves or on me or on what they expect in life, and it's not necessarily tied to the reality of how you're going to get there. Or it may be fluid. Things change, and we have to learn to change with that. I don't always like all the changes, and all the decisions that are made aren't always the right decision the first time out. So you have to keep working on that until you can get it to a point where it is, it's all working together and all the pieces fit. And going forward, when everything's rowing right along and everything's going well and you're excited about that, and you then are scared to change anything for fear it'll stop going well. And I think there's just a reality you have to expect that things will always have a little hiccup here and there, and when it's going well, you have to embrace that instead of being in fear of it kind of breaking apart. And that is something that I continually work on. We've had a wonderful second quarter. Wonderful. I mean, the best ever in 10 years. And so it's kind of, let's just keep doing the same thing. But there was something I needed to work on from a professional standpoint, but wasn't really sure how to get there. In fact, if I remember correctly, it was really also personal. I mean, it was a personal I could tell something was a little broken, but I couldn't figure out how or what it was, or even really conceive how to look for what it was. It was just kind of a gut feeling. And in sitting down with you over, I guess we had 4, 5, 6 sessions, over that period of time, it began to come together. And I remember really talking about just the fact that I didn't really know, but I knew it was something and I needed some help and I didn't really know where to go from there. And you walking me through a process of really helping me create the foundation of the culture that I have here at First Community. If you are confident and sound in your foundation of who you are, and then that's going to help bring on that whole person development that I believe in, that I think is a part of what you do in your business and in your work and in your training with people. And so I think human potential is definitely a good phrase to help a person who has not been exposed to the whole concept of spirituality in the workplace, to help them kind of grasp it. But again, if they know something, if they can feel that inherent something's not right, then it's more of a willingness to be open to new ideas and new